The HBAR ETF is trading today, but I've got some caution for you. Those day traders know how to play the market. We're also going to talk about XRP and the potential action that it could get from its ETF. Who's to blame, though? Did Ripple not do something right? Is it? I'll talk about it. If you buy BTC and put it on your books, it doesn't turn your company around. One of the biggest BTC buyers out there now has to buy back their own stock because the price sucks. Let's talk gold, crypto, along with
I say lots of naughty things, so here's your warning.
we got a mix of red and green up on the screen while the altcoin season index is starting to grow. Why is it growing? Well, it's got to do with those ETFs. Did Ripple mess up? Well, I've got the deets for you coming up soon. But before that, you know what? You, the viewer, matter most, so I'm sharing your comments. Flagrant EM2 says you're seriously on top of the news. No one else reports this type of information with such frequency and consistency. I wholeheartedly appreciate you. I'd love a live stream. Ask me anything type of thing. I know you're busy, so I'm just thankful for everything you do and share. Thanks, brother. When I get back home, don't worry. We're going to be doing live streams. We're going to get back into our normal routine. And see, I told you I would bring you the news while on vacation. Keith Cornwall is hanging out with us as well, and he says, I just typed on YouTube HBAR ETF approval. No one has put a video on it up yet except for Klaus. So that's good. I just went all in on it. Once everyone catches on, it's going to go sky high. Thanks heaps, Klaus. You are very welcome. But I've got a cautious warning for you because remember, there are day traders out there with years and years of experience and they know how to play the market. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about here coming up soon. Alex Chouinard, hopefully I said that right, sir, dropping some support on the channel. Thank you, my Canadian friend from the north. He says, Klaus, thank you for your 100% unbiased news reporting. You are coherent, eloquent, and dedicated, witty, funny, naughty, simply the best. I have learned so much from you since I discovered your channel. Keep up the excellent work. Your next meal and cervezas are on me. Well, thank you so much, Alex, and everyone for your support. What do we got up on the screen? A mix of red and green. Bitcoin, 115,635. ETH is 41.55. XRP is at 265, while 8 is at 67 cents. But there's someone here deep in the green, and who is it? It's HBAR. But what about that HBAR ETF? We're going to talk about it. Like I said, altcoin season starting to move. We're at 31 out of 100. This is pretty good. The highest levels we've seen in a couple of weeks here. Pretty cool, isn't it? Yes, it is. Volume for the crypto market, though, still kind of anemic right now at 145 billion over the last 24 hours. Eleanor Tourette broke the story on those HBAR ETFs, and here's the whole deal. What happened was these companies filed an addendum, right? They redid their paperwork and they said, hey, look, in 20 days, if you don't, approve or deny, they automatically get approved. So this is not something that Ripple does. This is not something that Stellar does. This is something, say, that Canary Capital does or Bitwise does. So for those of you out there saying, bro, Ripple screwed up, they should have gotten in on this. Ripple has nothing to do with these ETFs. These are all coming from the ETF issuers. And I'm telling you right now, you want to follow someone good? Follow Eleanor Tourette and Eric Balchunas. They are on top of all this ETF action. All right, let's get into it. Altcoin season incoming. Telling you, if we get the regs, you're going to see some really juicy action. Why? Because the HBAR, Litecoin, and Sol ETFs have launched this week. The approval of the spot Sol, Litecoin, and HBAR ETFs in the U.S. will help them rally above their all-time highs. Capital rotation from gold to Bitcoin and ultimately to altcoins has now a regulated route. Speaking of, check out the chart for gold. I've got it up on the screen right now. See, I bring you news from all over the place that deals with macros and finance. Gold was roaring here for like the last week. And here, I'll zoom out to the month so you can see what I'm talking about. Look at that. Roaring. Absolutely roaring. And traders have pulled back some of the profit, about 10% worth of it. So gold's still super high at 39.44, but it seems like the peak hysteria regarding the government shutdown has worn down. And to be honest, when the US-China deal, right, that proposed deal went through, all of a sudden gold softened up even more. But if the government shutdown gets bad news, expect gold to pump back up again. Let's go back to that. The narrative anticipating alt season 2025 gained significant validation as the first ever spot ETFs for major altcoins, Solana, HBAR, and Litecoin, prepare to launch on major U.S. stock exchanges. This breakthrough in institutional adoption arrives alongside easing macroeconomic tensions and growing expectations of a dovish Federal Reserve pivot. That's right. Remember, we also have rate cut decisions, which is when tomorrow we're essentially going to get another cut, everyone. Now, Just because you buy crypto and add it to your books doesn't mean that your company is awesome. In fact, we could look at Metaplanet. Metaplanet pours a $500 million into buyback as shares slide. So even though Metaplanet has been gobbling up BTC, its shares are losing value. The move follows a sharp drop in the company's market cap to net asset value, MNAV ratio, a key metric that compares a firm's market value to the worth of its crypto portfolio. This is what they said. They said, we recognize due to increasing market volatility and declining MNAV, our share price currently does not adequately reflect our intrinsic economic value. So guess what they had to do? They had to take a loan basically to buy back shares to pump up the price. Isn't that nuts? The buyback will be conducted on the Tokyo Stock Exchange with a maximum volume of 150 million shares, equivalent to 13% of all outstanding shares. Yo. So again, just because you put crypto on your books doesn't mean it's going to turn a company around. And again, you got to kind of look at MicroStrategy, now known as Strategy, with theirs, right? They're over 50% down from their all-time high this year, while BTC is not 50% down. So remember, buying crypto doesn't make a shitty company a better one. All right, now let's talk about these ETFs and why I'm giving you a warning. See, remember, I bring you the news, good, bad, happy, or sad. I'm not here going, oh, we're going to go to the moon and all that kind of crap, melting faces. No, no, no. I give you everything in order for you to make the best decision. The Solana staking ETF goes live today. Yes, baby, that's the deal. Solana officially joins Bitcoin and ETH in the ETF arena for the first spot ETFs to go live. 4 new ETFs will begin trading this week across the NASDAQ, NYSE, led by Solana, Litecoin, and Hedera. Bitwise has one. Grayscale Solana Trust will be converted on Wednesday. You also have Litecoin and Hedera ETFs from Canary Capital, which are trading today. So let's look at them, okay? First things first. Did the ETFs help HBAR's price? Well, hell yeah, it did. We're up 15% in 24 hours. In fact, look at that. And here, let's do this. Let's go to a little bit of candlestick-a-roni, right? We can do that. We can go to some candlestick-a-roni for y'all. Let's go to that. Let's see what happened. Oh, okay. So we got a high of what, everyone? 21.90 for HBAR. So definitely a healthy move, right? Definitely had an impact on the price. Now, what about Solana, right? Because that's what people are kind of wondering. In fact, let's just look at that 1 week chart for HBAR so you can see what I'm talking about. Now let's go to Sol. Did Sol benefit from that? No, they didn't. So there are certain ones that are going to win and certain ones that aren't. Now, this doesn't mean that the Sol one can't move, but shows you right now that the market was like, oh, okay, not a big deal with Sol, but definitely a bigger deal with HBAR. Now, what about that HBAR ETF and its ticker symbol? All right, this is the warning I've got for you, okay? And remember, this isn't the hopium place, this is the place for news. Because remember, those hopium places have been doing those cringe-ass freaking thumbnails of, oh, melting faces, grown men will cry. Doesn't it make you want to punch them through the damn screen? Here's your HBAR ETF. The ticker symbol is HBR. Uh-huh. Check it out. Over $40 on that action. And now we're sitting right at 28.01. So you got to be careful, okay? There's always going to be peak hysteria right at the beginning. And then those day traders know when to dump on the market. And then the price levels off. So it's the same thing. We were talking yesterday about the Evernorth company, right? Their SPAC and all that, and how they're going to do a conversion. You got to remember, there's going to be some people that got in on that SPAC, AACI, and they're going to be like, we really don't want to be an XRP holding company, so let's sell. And it's true. Not everyone that got into the SPAC is going to want to hold XRP. And with these ETFs, you got to be careful as well. Because what did we see with the stablecoin one from Circle? Massive pumperoni in the beginning. And if people bought on the way up, well, it's not the same, right? The market took some profits. So you got to be careful because these day traders are freaking pros and they've been doing it a while. So just because you got an ETF, it doesn't mean your price is going to soar. And it doesn't mean that that ETF is going to absolutely roar. So be very strategic with your buys and don't go for the hysteria. Okay. Remember, people out there have been doing this stuff for years and years and years, and they know how to play the market. Now, what about institutional Minis. Well, I've got that for you right here, baby. Slight inflows. Yeah, very, very slight inflows. So we're looking at this over the last month going, oh man, it's kind of been kind of shitty. Yeah, it kind of has, to be honest with you. In fact, you can see right here, over the last couple months, we've had a little bit more outflows creeping up. Why? Well, government shutdown, reg stalling, and so forth. And yeah, it has a big impact on the market. Like I said, though, HBAR definitely benefited from the ETF action, but does this mean we're going to be able to hold it going from 21.90 now to 20 cents? Is it pumperoni and dumperoni like we've seen in the market? I think it's going to take a couple days for me to determine how I feel about that. And again, my strategy is I nibble. I never go nutso balls deep. Why? Because there's people out there with more experience than me that know how to play the market even harder. And that's why I shared with you the HBAR ETF, which was trading nuts, so at around $40 and is now under 28. XRP is sitting at $2.67. Volume isn't bad right now, $4.8 billion. Very healthy looking for the 1 week. But what about the XRP ETF? And again, I'm telling you right now, this has nothing to do with Ripple. This has to do with the people issuing those ETFs. All right. So for everyone in the comments, it's like, bro, why is Ripple behind on this? Nothing to do with Ripple. All right. This has to do with like Canary Capital filing addendums for the ETFs that they had already filed. Now, in terms of the whole Evernorth thing, look, I'm telling you right now, you got to be careful because you know there's players out there that are like, okay, there's going to be a bunch of XRP retail money coming in, and that AACI one, right? The SPAC company that will get converted into Evernorth shares once all of this goes through. So a lot of people right now, I've been watching the volume and so forth. I watched it this morning. A lot of people are going to wait for more details before they get in. And remember, we talked about this. If you want to be risky in crypto, you get in super early. And we've seen that. Some people will get into crypto before the regs, some people will get in on day one of the regs, and some people will get in months and months after the regs. It's the same thing with these announcements of the SPAC mergers, same thing with the announcements of the ETFs. So XRP has a ton more ETFs ready to go in the queue. Are we going to get the same excitement as HBAR? Or are we going to see more experts play the market on the retail influx of money? That's why I'm being strategic, not being FOMO nutso, not telling everyone, oh, sell your car, sell your wife, sell your kids, sell everything, sell your kidneys. No, don't sell your kidneys. You need to drink and have fun still. That's what I'm telling y'all. Be cautious and do your due diligence, right? Zoom out a little bit, kind of look at the situation and go, well, wait a minute. Is this also an opportunity for people to short it too? Of course it is. And there's a lot of pros out there that know how to short the market and know how to play these pumps and dumps. And remember, that's what crypto's all about, right? It's been pumps and dumps. Go to Solana, go to ETH. You can see exactly what I'm talking about. Hold on, here, right? There's your soul chart. Pumperoni, dumperoni with some slight growth over time? Exactly. So, like I said, I'm going to be strategic and I'm going to nibble and take opportunities of those red days. I also want to see how these new launched ETFs perform over the next couple weeks here, specifically these next few days, to see if the excitement and hysteria levels off. In terms of HBAR, I got to be honest with y'all. I'm watching the ETF this morning. The volume right at the beginning was starting to move, and then all of a sudden you start seeing the price go. Yeah, see, you got to be careful out there. Now, that's why I bring you the news, good, bad, happy, or sad, so that you can make the best decision without the melting faces. Because remember, a whole bunch of channels out there have been telling you melting faces for years, and they're all, yeah, full of shit. Now, in terms of XRP, look, I'm happy with the overall price moving on up. I still believe XRP is going to roar past $3. Once the government starts opening up, once we start getting the reg stock, I think we're going to start looking at that $3 floor yet again. So, my personal opinion, I'm nibbling. Why am I nibbling? Because there's always dips in crypto. There's always market crashes. It's super volatile. There's always the US government screwing something up. Yeah, thank you, US government. It's not just Gary Gensler giving us low prices, it's even the current government right now giving us prices. So you got to be careful. And specifically with Evernorth, I'm going to be fairly cautious about this because you know what? I think there's going to be some players out there as this news circulates that are part of that SPAC holder that are going to be like, I don't know. I didn't really want to be part of like a crypto company because think about that, right? When that SPAC company was created, they had no idea that it was going to be used for XRP related things. And there might be people there that just aren't into crypto, and some of those shareholders might sell, which means what? Buying opportunity. That's why I said you got to be strategic about this stuff and you have to know when to strike. And for me, it's taking a cautious approach. I don't need to time the top and I don't need to time the bottom. I just need to play in between and make the profits. Why? Because crypto is all about them pumps and dumps. Oh, like the Circle IPO. Oh, like we've seen with ETH time and time again. Oh, like we've seen with everything else. So be cautious. Don't follow the hopium, but follow the news that you see here. Good, bad, happy, or sad. Choo choo what? Well, sadly, I'm leaving Guatemala today. I'm going back home, which is not sad. It's happy because I get to see my wife and dogs and my son, which is super important. As soon as I get back home, I'll be bringing you the news on the regular. Wait, no, I've been bringing you the news on the regular this whole damn time. Why? Because I'm dedicated to you. Choo choo what? Choo choo bitches.